Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the world of physical AI. We're talking about AI that can actually interact with the real world. Think self-driving trucks, robots, that kind of thing. And we're going to unpack the huge questions this technology raises about our future, all kicked off by a massive announcement at the Consumer Electronics Show. So that was the big headline from Nvidia's CEO. A really bold prediction that pretty much everything that moves will one day be completely autonomous. But what does a future like that actually mean for the rest of us? You know, behind all the flashy presentations and the incredible tech demos, there was a critical question that never got asked on that stage, a question that has a direct impact on millions and millions of lives. So let's start inside the hype machine itself, where a whole new era of technology wasn't just proposed, it was basically declared inevitable, a done deal. Okay, so look at this slide, because it paints a really stark picture. In the room, you had all the architects of this new world. But on the outside, you have people like Mike, who's been a trucker for 28 years. You have Lisa, a waitress in a town that completely depends on truck stops. And you have Mike's little girl, Emma. Their lives are about to be completely changed, and yet they had absolutely no voice, no seat at the table. And the sheer scale of this thing is, well, it's just staggering. This wasn't a pitch for a new product. It was presented as a fundamental rewiring of our civilization, a future that's apparently already been decided, with $100 trillion of investment behind it. To really get what's at stake here, the source material we're looking at points to four systemic, let's call them distortions, that are framing this whole conversation and, frankly, tilting the entire playing field. Okay, first step, recognition. And this one's all about a massive imbalance in what we as a society choose to see and celebrate versus what we choose to completely ignore. So the financial wins, the huge market caps, the cool tech achievements, that stuff gets all the headlines. But what gets buried in the fine print? The destruction of entire professions, the loss of identity for millions of people, and the slow collapse of the communities that rely on those jobs. The second distortion is all about belonging. It's really a question of who gets to be a part of the conversation that's shaping our collective world. You see, the circle of insiders, the investors, the developers, the partners, it's incredibly small. And meanwhile, the millions of people whose lives and livelihoods are directly on the line, they are completely shut out of the rooms where their futures are being designed for them. And that kind of exclusion leads directly to the third distortion, a fundamental problem of balance. It's about who pays the cost for all this change and who gets to cash in on the rewards. It's pretty straightforward, really. Corporations and their shareholders get to capture these immense financial gains. But the costs, we're talking mass unemployment, the massive public burden of retraining people, the social chaos, all of that is socialized. It's left for the rest of us to figure out and clean up. And that brings us to the fourth and, maybe the deepest distortion of all. This one is about order. It's about who gets to decide, who sets the agenda for all of us. Yeah, instead of having a real democratic debate about whether this is even the future we want, a single company's vision becomes our reality. The only question on the table is how quickly we can make it happen. Now, it's really crucial to understand that this isn't happening in a vacuum. It's taking place because a massive power vacuum has opened up on the world stage. I mean, just look at this data from 2023. Across developed nations, trust in our public institutions is dangerously low. More people have little or no trust in their national governments than have moderate or high trust. And so, into this vacuum of trust steps this immense corporate power. A company with a market cap of $4.6 trillion has more economic power than most countries on Earth, and with that power comes the ability to make decisions that define our entire civilization. And look, this isn't about blaming individuals or saying they have bad intentions. The problem is structural. A system that is designed from the ground up to maximize shareholder value simply cannot be trusted to make the best decisions for public well-being. The incentives just don't line up. So, are we just stuck? Is this just the way it has to be? Well, the source material we're looking at argues emphatically that the answer is no. There is a much better, much wiser way forward. We're being sold this false choice that we have to sacrifice people for progress or give up stability for innovation. But the real path forward is about and. It's about pursuing technological advancement and human dignity, efficiency and wisdom at the same time. And here are some actual practical ways we can find that balance. This isn't about stopping technology. It's about changing it from a top-down mandate into a collaborative project for all of society. That means democratizing the conversation, linking innovation directly to community support, and yeah, maybe slowing down just enough to make sure we can all adapt together. So this is really what it all comes down to. It comes down to a choice we're not being offered, but one that we can and we absolutely must still make for ourselves. There's this beautiful concept from Japan called ma, and it doesn't just mean an empty space or a delay, it means a meaningful pause, that fertile gap between things where reflection and real wisdom can actually grow. Our current mad dash into the future has no ma. Ultimately, this isn't about resisting the future. It's about remembering that the future is not some inevitable force that just happens to us. It's something that we create together. So the key takeaway here is this. We still have the power to choose a future that values both our incredible innovations and our shared humanity. The question is, what will we choose?